right now. They're gonna get back to me here in a second. I'm on hold. So I'm just gonna have to get that tool to continue this. So what I'm gonna do now is actually open up these fenders, take the fenders out, clean everything up, get all the dirt out of there and stuff. All this dirt, I got it out with just my finger. It was all right here. So I want to make sure I get all this out because this is just trapped moisture and I'm not trying to have that start to corrode and stuff. So I'm gonna clean up all the wells, and then hopefully by the time I'm done with that, I'll be able to go get the tool and be able to get this base out. Alright guys, so I don't think I'm going to be able to remove this fender. It's really in place opposed to the front one, so I'm probably going to get to the other front one, and then yeah, I'll be good to go. And I actually did get off the phone with AutoZone, and they said that I'm not going to be able to get the tool there, and I'm going to have to order it online or something, because I also called Advanced Auto Parts. They don't have it. I don't think anywhere is going to have it, so I'm going to have to order it online and then be able to finish the antenna mod. But I'm probably going to be able to paint some things today like I did with the hitches, so hopefully we'll be able to get to that as well, and then we'll get to the next thing that I want to do with the Cummins. Okay, so I finished all the fenders, cleaned it all up, threw an extra coat on to the trailer type hitch right there, and the only thing that I can really do now is just tape over this, because I'm going to paint the antenna, tape over this until I buy the tool. I'm going to order a tool online so that way I can actually be able to take the top of the ring off here. It's a special tool that goes on to like that. I've tried everything like a wrench and other stuff, but it wouldn't work, so I'm gonna have to get that tool to be able to get that out of there. And I already bolted on most of the fender back. I left 3 out on each side because I'm gonna be touching up on all the stuff down here, but that is gonna be in another video. But yeah, maybe I'll actually do that tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But so I got everything set up over here. I got this on a string. I taped the bottom so I don't get paint on where that connects, and I'm gonna paint the entire antenna, and I'm also gonna paint the cap to that on the back bumper, and I'm gonna be able to do that all right now. And then tomorrow I have some other things planned with the Cummins. What's going on, guys? Next day today, different environment here, but we got the antenna fully painted, looking great. And I also painted the panels down by the front fenders. I also painted the thing on the back bumper, the cover there, like I said before. So there's actually something else that I want to do today to the Cummins. Stained up the ground. I was originally painting there. So the thing that I wanted to do to the Cummins today, or I was going to do tomorrow, whichever day had the best weather, and it's pretty good today. It's not good to do this in direct sunlight, so I think I'm gonna pick today to do it. But I'm going to do some fixing up here. I'm gonna like take some bug and tar remover, rub all that down, get all the grime I can off of there, and then I'm going to paint it. So hopefully it turns out well. It does look pretty good. I have some touch-up products that I bought, Dodge OEM brand specifically, so I'm going to show you guys those products before I start doing this. But the first thing I'm going to do is take some bug and tar remover and possibly some alcohol and clean all that up. So let's see how that looks. You know what, guys? I lied to you. I'm actually going to be taking off these footsteps first, because if you look how close these steps are to what I'm painting, it's way too close there. So I'm going to take them off first. I figured it's a perfect time to take them off now, because I was going to eventually. I'm not a big fan of these. I did have these on the Silverado, and it's just something that I don't want. It ruins the clearance that the truck has, and it's chrome. I don't like the look of those. Maybe if they were NFAB steps, or those $1,000 steps that, you know, lower down when you open the door, that would be cool. But my truck is not even high enough to even have these. I can just easily hop in the truck. It's about the same height as the Silverado is now. I'm fine without them. So let's get these things off. But Bada bing, bada boom. There we go, guys. Finally got them off. It's such a nice, cleaner look to the truck. I mean, it looks like it gained some height, but really it was all an illusion. I took them off, and what I also did, here, let me show you guys the other side of the truck. What I also did was clean up the underneath of the body. I used some old rags, and then I painted on places that needed to be touched up on the frame, and I also painted the bolts that were in the stock placement of where this was. Now kudos to Dodge, because it was a lot easier taking this off opposed to being on the frame rails when I had some on the Silverado, but it might be better to have on the frame rails anyway, I don't know, opposed to putting stress on the body panels. But whatever, I finally got them off and the truck looks a lot better. The height definitely looks nicer this way, and I couldn't imagine putting a leveling kit on this Dodge right now. Would be, I don't know, the look would be crazy. So I'm just gonna clean up these foot rails, maybe put up some paint on it, I don't know, and then they'll be ready to be sold. Probably sell them pretty soon here. And yeah, they're looking pretty dirty, but the condition of them is flawless. So guys, before I get to the bug and tire remover onto the bottom panels of the truck, I wanted to let you know that I put the new painted bolts back onto the Silverado, put the license plate back on, and man, those bolts look great and everything's holding it up. And to give you guys an update on the axle with the quick shot on it, it's looking a lot better than it did before. So let's get started on the Cummins. I already got the bug and tire remover out. I got the soft cloth. I would use a microfiber, but I'm looking for something that's going to really get that bug and tar off. And I'm going to be painting it anyway, so if it scratches, whatever, I'll touch it up. So let's get started. I am now ready to begin the painting process of the Cummins. I'm going to start on this side because I opened the door, water started dripping on the other side, so I'm going to make sure that I have a dry side to start on. Now for the products I use, let me just open up the box. I'm going to use some Moper, which is some OEM touch-up paint. Match the paint code, which you can find in the door. For the Silverado, it's in the glove box, but this is PR4. And then after I put on a couple layers, I'm going to put down some clear coat just to, you know, protect it from future scratches and chips and stuff like that. But before I do any of that, I'm going to rub everything down with some rubbing alcohol, and I also have a clean rag to do that with. So once I'm done with that, I will start spraying down the paint. I might possibly ruin the Cummins, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Now, a common issue with these trucks when people paint them, or cars in general really, is that they'll tape off a square section or something, or wherever they're painting at, and they won't be able to blend the paint that way, and that is a very common issue that people have, a common misconception, a thing that people do. So it's not something that you want to do. You want to leave it as open as possible, maybe tape up here, but you want to be able to blend the paint. There's a certain way you want to spray this on so you can blend it and make it look like it was factory, or that this job was never done. The next thing I did was tape off the inner well here. Now in a perfect world I would just take the well down again, but it's such a pain getting that thing back in, and I feel like this is good enough. I'm going to be as careful as possible. If I get any paint on the well, I'll easily be able to remove it anyway, so I just tape that off with some blue painter's tape. So now I'm ready to start the process of painting. I'm going to show you guys how to blend it down, slow down the video, I might time lapse it. Let's begin. Oh, and wait, for you guys that are joining me on this, I also taped off the rubber insulation there, you know, to keep the rain out. I also taped behind there so I don't get paint on that, and I should be good to about there. So make sure you guys do that if you guys are joining me on this journey. There we go. Finished the job, everything's looking good. If you look down here, it's still drying a little bit, but I mean, I think it's matching pretty well. I mean, you can tell a little bit that this is not the factory paint, but it's definitely really nice looking. I did some touch up over here and back there as well, but it was definitely worth doing because those chips after a while would start to rust with all the PA road salt that we have here. But wow, I mean, it doesn't look bad. I used the whole can actually for both sides, finished with just one can. It's pretty awesome that I didn't have to buy any more cans and that I had actually enough. But over here, I think it even looks better over here. I mean, there was a lot more chips on the other side, that's probably why. didn't have to use as much paint. Got some chips over there. I even touched up there. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. I must say it's definitely worth doing opposed to spending like $1,000, because I went to a paint shop to get a price, you know, an estimate to be able to take the whole rocker off and this panel here, get that all professionally done, and it was like $1,000. I was like, hey, you know, I'm not needing anything too perfect here. This is good enough for me. And I mean, the job that I did here is definitely worth it, because $1,000 opposed to spending what, like $20, $30? I think I'm gonna settle for this, because once this thing is built, once we start doing stuff